Hello YouTube, this is VidHead85 and this is a Reddit summation, as I call it. I've watched a lot of Reddit videos and I wanted to share an update to a video that I saw from Lost Genre about a marriage in crisis. This story is concluded. OP and her husband were separated and she wanted advice on how to save her marriage. So this is how it goes. OP got a message from a neighbor saying that her husband was on Tindr and had conversations with him. She only got screenshots in this one conversation and the location was close. When he got home the evening, all OP said is that they had a terrible fight and her family just so happened to show up. She called them and mother decided to come get the kids and be nosy, grabbing her father and brother too. They knew what was going on. So brother punched the husband when he grabbed OP's arm and they ended up fighting, with the husband being told to leave the house. A comment from Web822 gives us some insight saying, in part, let them know that you started this conflict by manipulating everyone and now you are narcissistic enough to act as if everything happened by itself and you are the victim. I guess this is not the first time your brother attacked someone, and don't try to hide yourself. You're a lousy person. Husband moved to Sydney, Australia to take care of his aging father. The neighbor reveals that it wasn't OP's husband but her own husband. He got the photos for the fake Tindr profile from a computer that they let him use during COVID. She's told him that he wanted to make amends, but she's based her accusations on the screenshots alone, and we don't get any we don't hear of any corroborating behavior that screams cheating. I think she got the answer she wanted and wouldn't be convinced otherwise. But let's get on to the update. This is what she says in the update. It is a series of unfortunate events that robbed my family of happiness, but refuses to admit that it was her choices that led to such, which leads me to this comment from Zywoo181. How about a fucking apology for not believing him? How about a fucking apology for her brother attacking him? In her post, she shows absolutely no remorse, but oh, I want him, blah, 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 blah. Another says, but it was your lack of believing your husband, refusing to hear him out, and either spreading the lie or allowing the lie to be spread that destroyed his life, your kids' lives, and robbed them of love and happiness. Quit acting like you were powerless in this. You could have heard him out, let him prove it wasn't him, and tried to find a different path. Instead, you rocked up with a violent brother and took the kids. You either allow these lies to be spread uncontested or spread them yourself. Going back to the story, he was in therapy and decided, I need a clean break, and that would be the best thing for him, and she respects his wishes. And she says this, now I have to focus on my kids, my depression, and coming to terms with the divorce, which spurs this comment from Spiteful RRDMTA. What do you mean coming to terms with the divorce? You refuse to hear him out. What is there to come to terms with? The fact that you wouldn't hear him out? Please, if you cared for him even the tiniest bit, do not attempt to rekindle with him. He may be desperate and go for it, but he needs to heal. He needs to find someone who would genuinely back him, love him, and trust him. You've done a lifetime of damage to him. So she says she wants to clear the air. About what actually happened, and I doubt she'll be putting the part in there where she manipulated this whole thing and acted like none of it was her fault. A last comment puts in perspective why this marriage is completely dead in the water, and it reads such. Your husband experienced something that you will never understand. A false accusation. An assault from your brother. Spousal alienation. No right of recourse against the false accusation. A complete lack of loyalty from his wife. A complete lack of respect from his wife. The loss of the life he had from a false allegation. Parental alienation from his children. Familial alienation from his in-laws. Alienation from friends. The police were called and he had to leave. You separated from him. Your husband has already completed his grieving process. You ask if you're too far down the rabbit hole? Yes. I'm afraid there's no going back for you. You chose not to listen to him when he said it was not him. So I agree that there is no coming back from that. I understand you had reasons to believe he might be cheating, but it seems he had no chance to defend himself, and getting your family involved made everything even worse. He was punched and told to leave his house by the police, has been living away from his kids for the past 14 months, and has been treated like a villain by his friends. You say you love him, but I don't think love could erase everything you two have been through and rebuilt trust. So again, I'm just going to echo in conclusion what Spiteful RRDMTA said. And he said simply, he needs to find someone who will genuinely back him, love him, and trust him. You've done a lifetime of damage to him. And that is why I hope that he finds someone who, I really hope that OP's ex-husband finds that person. So thank you so much for joining me for this episode of, well, it's kind of like Am I the Asshole / Reddit summation, but I really like these because I can keep it short enough and get all of it in, and also link the actual story to you if you want to read it in word form. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you spending your time with me. Have a great one.